Based on a real event. One day, a reckless driver speeds through a puddle and soaks a man standing on the sidewalk. Instead of getting angry, the man calmly drops his extinguished cigarette and watches it float away. He follows it with his eyes as it drifts along the current and disappears into a storm drain. When he looks up, he realizes something important. That drain is directly connected to the largest bank in Argentina. He traces the water's path to where it leads, then slowly turns back toward the bank building. In that quiet moment, the idea for the biggest robbery in Argentina's history is born, a $19 million heist. He returns with a friend and lowers a measuring tape into the drain to mark the exact spot. Then they enter through the far end of the sewer and navigate their way through until they find that marker again. That is when the plan becomes real. Soon he recruits a group of financially desperate men to help execute it. What he does not realize is that this robbery will completely change their lives and turn them into millionaires overnight. This is the heist of the century. Before all of this, Fernando is just a struggling artist. He spends his days painting and carving sculptures. But after 20 years, his career has gone nowhere. To survive, he also works as a martial arts instructor, even though he has no real passion for it. Still, Fernando is a genius. Whatever he learns, he masters quickly. After coming up with the bank robbery idea, he brings in a technician named Sebastian. As his close friend, Sebastian understands how crazy the idea sounds, but he also knows it could work. He points out that they will need funding, vehicles, tools, and equipment. So Fernando reaches out to Doc, a deeply religious relative who, despite his faith, is still tempted by opportunity. Doc then introduces him to an elegant and smooth-talking man named Mario. Mario has a special talent. He can talk his way through almost anything. Most of what he says is nonsense, but that gift makes him incredibly skilled at robbery. Nighttime is his favorite setting. In the dark, he needs only 10 minutes to break into a safe. In one instance, he cracks open a vault inside an office with ease. When caught in a tight situation, he simply pretends to be an intern and overwhelms people with confident chatter. Once, he tricks a cleaning lady who can do nothing but nod along. Whatever he steals, he gives to his daughter, Lucia, without ever telling her where the money comes from. One night, as Mario is preparing for another job, Fernando suddenly shows up. Mario immediately assumes he is being watched by a spy. Hours later, Doc calls to explain that the mysterious man is actually family. After that misunderstanding is cleared up, Fernando finally sits down with Mario. At their first meeting, Fernando gets straight to the point. He needs financial backing for a massive operation. While inspecting the robbery location using his measuring tape, Fernando calculates that the distance from the street level down to the sewer floor is exactly 18 meters. Fernando also learns something critical. Every 2 days, the sewer floods. To avoid getting trapped, they will have to carefully follow the official weather forecasts and choose their timing wisely. On the second day, they meet again. This time, Doc joins them to discuss how the motion sensors inside the bank actually work. During that meeting, Fernando proves that the sensors can be tricked with thick jackets. The system only reacts when it detects a temperature difference between the room and a moving object. If they insulate themselves properly, the sensors will not register their presence. The very next morning, Sebastian and Fernando enter Bank Rio to map out the interior. They coordinate carefully, covering for each other's movements. At one point, Fernando deliberately acts suspicious, pretending to photograph parts of the bank. As expected, the security guard calls Central Police, and Fernando is escorted into a security room. But this is exactly what he wants. The distraction gives him the chance to memorize every detail of the building layout. In the end, the officers find nothing incriminating and even feel slightly embarrassed. Once outside, Fernando immediately transfers everything from memory onto a detailed blueprint. Doc, Mario, and Sebastian are stunned by how precise his recollection is. At the same time, Doc is assigned another task. He measures the distance from the manhole to the bank building. Using only a bicycle to avoid suspicion, he calculates the length discreetly. At the next meeting, they confirm the numbers. The distance from the manhole to the bank is 7 meters and 10 centimeters, while the depth from street level to the sewer floor is 18 meters. With those figures, Fernando calculates the exact diagonal length they will need. That measurement becomes essential. The team heads into the sewer to mark the precise entry point. The tunnel must match Fernando's calculations perfectly, not even a few centimeters off. Meanwhile, Mario studies the bank vault from the inside. He poses as a regular customer who wants to store valuables. From that visit, he memorizes the entire security system in detail. That information becomes crucial for Sebastian, who will handle the technical side of cracking the safes. They also rent a van from Mario's relative, Alberto, securing it for the lowest price possible. As time passes, their preparation becomes more concrete. The tunnel takes shape, though it requires constant adjustments. Still, Mario begins to have doubts. He wants to understand the full plan, especially how they will enter and how they will escape. And he is right to question it. Fernando cannot fully explain the exit strategy yet. There are flaws in the plan. Concerned about his daughter's safety, Mario decides to walk away. Then one night, while stargazing with his girlfriend, Fernando suddenly has a breakthrough. He immediately tracks down Mario, who constantly moves from place to place. Fernando explains that the bank's security system only considers two conditions: when the bank is open and when it is closed. What the bank has never considered is a robbery that exploits both conditions at the same time. In simple terms, the idea is this: when the bank is open, the robbers walk in and out through the front door like normal customers. When the bank is closed, they use a different route. So Fernando decides they will enter through the main entrance during business hours, then escape through the tunnel they have been digging all along. That tunnel was originally meant for both entry and exit, but now it becomes their secret way out. After Fernando lays it all out clearly, the final version of the plan is locked in. When the day finally arrives, everything moves fast. Sebastian heads straight into the sewer system, while Doc, Alberto, Mario, and Fernando walk into the bank like ordinary visitors. Within moments, they take control of the situation and hold the customers and staff at bay. However, one of the CCTV operators manages to alert the police. From that point on, the robbery turns into a carefully managed hostage situation. The CCTV operator is taken captive to prevent further communication, although Mario later releases him intentionally. The bank manager is hidden away in a storage room, and all the security cameras are shut down to eliminate any recorded evidence. Meanwhile, Sebastian successfully breaks through the tunnel into the bank. He and Fernando work together inside the vault room, relying on a custom tool Sebastian has carefully prepared. Incredibly, the device can crack open a safe in just 7 seconds. They keep this up for 2 full hours, which means safe after safe is emptied in rapid succession. Outside, reporters, police officers, and even soldiers gather in front of the bank. The authorities assign a negotiator named Sileo to handle the situation. This is where Mario truly shines. His ability to talk endlessly and convincingly becomes their greatest weapon. At one point, he even introduces himself under a different name to mislead the authorities. He claims there are men positioned on the roof and demands they come down. Surprisingly, soldiers really have managed to climb onto the building. While Mario keeps everyone distracted with constant chatter, Sebastian and Fernando continue working quickly inside the vault. The authorities focus on strategy and try to avoid casualties, buying the robbers precious time. Mario also takes advantage of small moments. When a hostage urgently needs to use the restroom, he allows that person to leave, knowing the shock and confusion will make it impossible for them to provide useful information. As the police wait outside, the safes inside are steadily being emptied. Then in the middle of the chaos, a phone suddenly rings. It belongs to an elderly woman who happens to be celebrating her birthday that day. In an unexpected gesture, Mario asks for a biscuit and a lighter from another hostage and helps her celebrate right there inside the bank. Not long after, he lets her go. To everyone's surprise, the elderly woman later tells the police that the robbers treated her kindly. She even says it was the most unforgettable birthday of her life. A few minutes later, Sileo calls again, this time with a prosecutor involved. The hope is that the presence of a legal authority will pressure Mario into surrendering peacefully. Instead, Mario turns the conversation into a verbal attack, throwing out bold and outrageous accusations, completely refusing to back down. So Mario comes up with another trick. He suggests that the police call his personal lawyer. What they do not realize is that the number he provides actually belongs to one of the bank's customers. The lawyer's name itself is something Mario casually picks from an insurance sign. In that moment, he simply becomes the lawyer, introducing himself under a new identity and speaking to the prosecutor as if they have known each other for years. This time, he keeps the insults to himself and plays the role perfectly. As the conversations continue, time keeps passing. Inside the vault room, Sebastian and Fernando finish emptying the safes. Once everything is secured, they move on to the final stage of the plan.
Se cagó de nuevo. ¿Cuánto tiempo les queda?
¿Qué pasa? ¿Cómo vienen?
But Sileo is not a fool. He decides to test something. He calls a supposed lawyer's number while also calling Mario at the same time. Both phones ring together. The same ringtone is heard twice in perfect sync. That is when the truth becomes clear. This moment is critical for both sides. The bank director approaches Sileo and insists there is no other exit besides the main entrance. Still, Sileo's eyes drift toward a nearby drain. He is certain the robbers have created an escape route through it. Unfortunately, his warning is ignored by his commander, and he is ordered to stand down and wait. Inside the bank, the robbers are already wrapping things up. Fernando gathers all the weapons they brought in, while Mario leaves the hostages and heads toward a hidden opening in the records room. Before leaving, Fernando places a note above the pile of weapons. No one knows exactly what it says at that moment, but soon the hostages begin to wake up and grab their phones. Within minutes, families of the hostages start receiving calls. The authorities react immediately. Police and soldiers are deployed at full force. At the same time, Mario and Fernando finish cleaning up any trace of their presence. It becomes a race against the clock. In the end, the advantage is entirely on Fernando's side. One by one, they slip away through the sewer and disappear without confrontation. Only afterward does Celeo notice something unusual. The floor in one room looks much cleaner than the others. That small detail leads him to discover the hidden escape tunnel. Near it, there is even a grenade left behind. At first, Celeo hesitates, unsure whether it is real. Then a police officer confirms that all the weapons used during the robbery were fake. The final piece of the puzzle also falls into place. The cheap van they rented was never random. It was positioned directly above another manhole 3 kilometers away, a location they had previously scouted. The van's worn condition and the driver pretending to fix a flat tire were all part of the disguise. By the time the police realize what has happened, the robbers are long gone. Celeo and his team lose the chase completely. Later, military officials, police leaders, prosecutors, and even Celeo read the message left behind. It declares that among the wealthy, without weapons and without hatred, there is only money, not love. After the robbery, Fernando and the others begin enjoying the massive fortune they secured, an amount so large it seems like it might never run out. In the beginning, the police are unable to track them down. Every piece of evidence is carefully erased. The case is quietly closed, marked as an extraordinary and almost unbelievable achievement. Doc, the deeply religious one, upgrades his place of worship. Mario makes sure his daughter lives happily. Fernando finally feels that his long-standing frustrations have been satisfied. Sebastian settles into a peaceful life with his wife and child, and Alberto, instead of being content, starts an affair. Out of all of them, Alberto is the only one who makes a reckless mistake. That one mistake turns out to be fatal for everyone. His heartbroken wife goes straight to the police and reports that her husband was involved in the Bank Rio robbery. The accusation quickly gains weight when stacks of cash are discovered, hidden throughout their home, even tucked into the ceiling. The news spreads fast. There is no stopping it now. Fernando decides to disappear as far away as possible. Meanwhile, Sebastian is arrested without putting up a fight. Doc, the driver, and Mario are also taken into custody. On that very day, Mario is spending time with Lucia when police surround his new house. He is arrested right in front of his daughter. No one expects their goodbye to happen like that. Even so, Lucia continues to support her father and prays for him. At the same time, Fernando is hiding in the mountains of Paraguay, but there is no escaping reality. The evidence has piled up, and eventually he has no choice but to surrender. Then the story jumps forward 19 months later. Fernando, dressed in blue prison clothes, walks out and is greeted by Mario in a luxury car. In the end, the message Fernando once left behind proves to be true. Money can buy freedom, influence, and even make legal problems disappear. So the moral of the story is, if life splashes you with dirty water, follow the drain to millions, but never cheat on your wife, because that is how the real disaster starts.